Did you hear her life story? She's been working her butt off for like her entire life
since birth.
So she's used to it by now, right? How do you feel?
I'm glad you said that, because my best friend told me the other day when I was venting to her about just pressure I was feeling. I feel that way too. And I was always excited when I got opportunities when I was a child to like have my parents come to things, or like if I had an awards ceremony and be like, oh my gosh, they're going to be so proud because I'm like working as hard as them. And I've talked about that with my therapist too, because she called me a chronic high achiever. And I was like, yeah, because like, who am I if not my accolades? And she's like, let's unpack that.
Yeah. You got a whole ass crown. You don't need a ring.
Yeah, it has
you want to see?
Yes, please show us the crown. I would too. It's a ring. Look at that.
But it's like, I respect and appreciate like the part of my life I'm in right now, because I worked really hard to get here.
Yeah, of course.
This is real for me. I need this. This is a therapy for me.
Before we dive in, a quick but important note. We are not licensed mental health professionals or medical experts. The conversations that we have on this podcast are based on our personal experiences, thoughts, and opinions. Nothing shared here is intended to be taken as medical advice, a diagnosis, or a substitute for professional help. If you are struggling or need support, please reach out to a qualified mental health provider or medical professional.
This is.
So you guys don't really know each other.
We don't.
This is your guys' first time meeting, right?
I feel like I've seen you before maybe, but this is the first time we're actually talking to each other. Yeah.
I'm excited.
I know.
Which we all still have the film industry in common.
Cool.
That's
we do.
Yeah.
What do you do in the film industry? You're an actor?
Not doing a lot right now, but the first feature film I was in is circulating through film festivals.
Cool.
It won Best Cinematography at Zion's.
Oh, yes, Dog Bite Murders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
And then it just got, it's going to premiere again at the Chinese Theater in LA.
I saw that. You remember Clint Clarkson, right? I introduced you, I think, at the festival.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I was typing you guys both up to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Is he the DP? Or?
Yeah. He was the one that did Noche, the old timepiece that me and her originally met on.
I need to hit him up. He was cool.
He's one of the most underrated, most talented people out. It's so funny that like, and I know this podcast isn't for the film industry type of stuff, but it's just that whole journey was just so cool with like how we met, because like she wasn't originally supposed to be the one playing that part.
No.
It was supposed to be someone else casted, but then the other person just, I guess, didn't believe in the project in us. And they were just like, you know what, I'm not paid for this, so I'm just going to like not do it. And so he called me up and was like, hey, I'm kind of freaking out right now, man. Like, I just need to make sure you're 100% on board. I don't have to recast your part too and stuff. I'm like, Clint, don't worry, man. Like, I get it. I'm just in this for the love of making movies. I just want to do this. And he's like, all right. And he's like, I have one other person. It was actually a very close tie between this person and the other one. The other one just had a little bit more experience. So I went with them. Yeah, it was like your first project, wasn't it? And so that's
so I wasn't expecting much out of it.
And he was like, yeah, she's a pageant queen or something. I'm like, oh, okay. This should be interesting. All right.
Are you used to being in front of like cameras and crowds and stuff? So was it hard for you to do?
No. In the moment, like on set, and like I read the script a trillion times, but I think I was most nervous about like messing up on set, which is inevitable because we're not robots, we're not ChatGPT, but every time I would like fumble over my words because I get tongue-tied very easily. I was just like, I'm literally going to get kicked off the set right now. Like they're going to just send me home. But it went so smooth, and it was hard because not only was it my first project, but I had like paragraphs of speaking at a time.
Oh, wow.
So it was a big undertaking.
It's timepiece stuff. So you can't just like ad lib and like make it your own word like you can with other projects. Like other projects, I can look at it and be like, I don't think this is how it would be said, or like maybe I can make it to work instead of this phrase, he says this. And this is based in like the 1800s. So they had a very different style of talking at that point. So you have to like match the style of English and stuff. And like even I had issues. And that was like, I don't even know how many projects I had before that. And I was just like, shit, I have to like go word by word by word by word.
I don't know how you guys do that.
It was intimidating, very much.
It was.
And it was his first like short film thing, and like I was a little bit nervous because like I've worked with a lot of first timers, and like it's so hit or miss, especially out here with first timers.
That's so true.
But it was such an amazing experience, and then it was I don't know, I was still to date one of my favorite projects, and then I was still so salty when I didn't get casted in Dog Bite Murders. I auditioned for one of them.
I auditioned for 3 different roles, and I got not any of the leading roles, and that's fine. Again, I'm new, but they liked my audition so much that they like developed my character a little bit more. They gave me a little bit more in the film, and they put me at the end of the film too. So I got to drive a Model T Ford.
Cool.
Terrifying. Don't recommend. I was like, I am not responsible enough to be operating this vehicle. Almost ran over Clint.
No.
It was great. Well, the shot he was getting, he was like on the floor, and it was like angled up at the car and like the sky.
So dangerous.
And he's like, you just got to drive straight. And I can't hear anything over the engine because it's
loud.
so loud.
Yeah.
So the guy teaching me to drive the car, there's like 400 pedals on the ground and like levers. And I'm just like, okay. And he's like, don't touch that one.
Oh, no.
Don't touch that one either. Super don't touch that one. You want to focus on this and this. And then just hold it nice and tight and then just go. But you have to be kind of heavy on the pedal. And I'm like...
But also not, so you don't run people over.
Yeah. And
Do you know how to drive standard? Like stick shift?
Like stick shift? No.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I tried teaching an actress to drive stick shift once because they wanted to put my Jeep in the movie, and she was like, absolutely not, because she had to act as well. And I was like, it's easy, you'll get it. And she was like, no.
It took me a while to learn. Like, I couldn't do it the first... Like, my sister tried teaching me how to drive in her old... I think it was like a Kia or something. And it took like 3 people trying to teach me for me to finally get it. And even like now, I still have issues when I'm going from nothing to first gear.
Yeah.
Really trying to get... Because each car has a different clutch.
That's true.
Like, each car... Like, sometimes, like, the old car I had, you had to press it all the way to engage it. Versus one that she had... You barely tap that thing and it's already engaged.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, and I can only imagine with like an older like Model T, those ones are, that I don't even think I could do that. That's insane.
It was the hardest part of filming.
Yeah.
Regardless of the lines or anything.
So are you not doing acting much anymore?
I haven't auditioned for anything or casted for anything since I've been in pageantry, just because I don't, like, if I get something big and it ends up conflicting schedule-wise, I would feel horrible for the pageant and the project. So I'm kind of focusing on pageantry right now, especially while Dog Bite Murders is, you know, circulating and gaining traction, because I want to be available to go to premieres.
Right.
And then after pageants, I think I will dive back in, because I do miss it. It's a lot of fun. I've always wanted to do it, and now that my foot is in the door, I feel like I can really develop that side of me too, just like I have with pageants.
What year did you start pageantry?
It was 2023.
Okay, so it's been a couple of years then. So is it just like you just want to do it for a couple of years and then trying to step away, or is it like just trying to do it as much as you can?
I'm going to do it until my heart's no longer in it.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It gives you a lot of opportunity to network, travel. It's a nice in on a lot of bigger projects too, or bigger opportunities. And it's still benefiting me and growing my creative career in that sense, but it's also like fueling my creative fire. So once I don't feel that anymore, then I'll take a step back.
How does it fuel your creative? I don't know anything about pageants, so like when you were just saying that like it gives you opportunities, like what kind of opportunities and how, like what kind of creative things do you get to do?
I think we had talked about it before that, you know, having a title is a like extra layer of credentialing.
Right.
So spokesmanship, ambassadorship, 100%. People kind of take you more serious.
Yeah.
some brands will see it as an opportunity for them to like work with me, and that's cool.
That's really
Definitely
cool.
take advantage. And in February, I had the opportunity to walk in New York Fashion Week for a designer I met through pageants.
Cool.
And I'll be rocking one of her custom gowns at competition this year too.
Oh, okay. That's really cool.
Hmm.
I love that.
It's a lot of fun.
So what got you into pageantry? Sorry.
No, you're good. We know each other.
Guys are just like
I
waiting
know
for
nothing
questions.
about-
I've had her on my podcast twice. So a lot of this stuff, like if people have come from the previous podcast, they do know some of the stuff. But this is a brand new platform and
I
brand new
don't know.
person that
Yeah.
knows nothing about the pageantry world.
Excited to tell you. Don't worry.
So
You can ask me 50
you
more
geek out all you
times.
want. You go. You go.
We'll deep dive. I'm ready. I got my Coke Zero. We're good to go. I got into pageants through a friend that I met in the modeling industry. She was the Miss Arizona of the previous pageant system I did. And when it was her year to give up her crown, she had posted about, wanting to get new delegates into the system. I knew next to nothing about pageants aside from watching a couple episodes of Toddlers and Tiaras. And
Yeah.
I love Miss Congeniality.
I was gonna say that movie.
It's so good. A lot of it applies. It's funny. So I was like, you know what? Let me DM her and be like, hey, send me some information on this. I'm curious. And she put me in contact with the local director, and they were like, if you want to do it, go for it. You can be Miss Goodyear and compete for Miss Arizona. And I was like, okay, but what does that entail? So I, had a several hour long phone call with her, ended up competing. But the other person that was supposed to be in my division had to drop out. So they're like, well, you could drop out too, or if you want, you can take the title at large. And
Why would you drop out?
I don't know. I was like, I kind of want to give this a go. So I was like, if you're comfortable, the national director is comfortable with it, then I'll compete as Miss Arizona for the national pageant.
Cool.
Huge, opportunity. And I definitely felt like I bit off a little bit more than I could chew, just because it was I threw myself into the wolves in a very established pageant system.
And you went straight to the top, right away.
Didn't
knowing
even have a chance to,
nothing.
work up.
Yeah, I forced myself to have imposter syndrome because I was
so
like,
cool.
ooh, pageant girls, especially from different states and in the South for sure, they take it so serious, real big out there. So seeing all these other girls, and I'm like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? But I met some of my closest friends through that system, and some of us switched over to the system I'm in now, United World, which I'm absolutely madly in love with. And this is my home. I feel so at home in this system. And I kind of got hooked from there. I didn't exactly love my first pageant experience. There was just a lot of unknowns, and there was a lot of challenges within leadership that had I been in the industry more, it wouldn't have affected me so bad. But it just was not something to write home about, unfortunately. So when I switched over to this one and everything was aligning and everything was working out and everyone was so nice and leadership was supportive, and I love that it's leadership driven and not so much it's glitz and glam too, but they really care about what's underneath the crown rather than what's on it. So I love it, and it's given me a huge platform to create positive change in the realm of animal welfare, and that's where my heart is.
Okay.
She doesn't know hardly
know
anything
I've
about
worked
you.
on so much too since
Yeah.
we've last talked, so there's a lot.
Really? Oh, I cannot wait. Yeah, because we've known each other for a few years now. And there's been a lot of different endeavors, a lot of different projects, and just crazy things. So, even though this is technically my third podcast with you, there's still so much new shit
Oh, yeah.
that's out
There's
there.
a lot.
So, pageants, so bring us down the list of everything that you're involved with now. Pageants, animals,
Okay, I'll give you my
what's
resume.
what's the resume right here?
I'm Rebecca. Nice to meet you. I'm 30 years old. So I work in digital marketing and the legal industry. So I'm a senior marketing coordinator for an international law firm. So that's my bread and butter, my 9 to 5. I also own an animal care business called Feather and Fur. It's going on its third year, and it's growing, and it's amazing. and I just get to help animals in need, which is a lot of fun. I also do a lot of volunteer work at Wildcat Ranch in Phoenix. So they do equine assisted therapy. So I go and I help do farm chores over there, which is a lot of fun. They do a lot of philanthropy themselves too. So it's really fun to be involved. I also volunteer with Lost Our Home Pet Rescue and was just asked to be one of their ambassadors for off-site events, public events, stuff like that. I have a really cool collab coming up with them on Saturday. So super excited for that. I'll also be doing some vet tech work there as well, donating some of my time there to help with their vet clinic that they have. I'm also a foster of theirs too. I also do pageants. I also model, and I also act, and I work out. And sometimes I sleep.
I was gonna say, do you sleep? Oh my gosh.
What do you not do?
Less than.
Yeah.
Someone asked me that the other day, and I was like, I fly planes. Don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Skydiving, not my jam.
You should try it. Because I was afraid of heights, and then I went skydiving, and it was the best thing ever.
I don't know if my heart could take it, but maybe one day if I'm brave. And
it literally feels like you're floating in water.
Do you get that like drop feeling?
Right when you jump out of the plane, but it takes like 5 seconds, and then you're just like,
well, there's like so much air resistance that happens. Like I've never actually gone. I've gone up in the plane when people are skydiving,
right?
But I've never skydived myself. But from everybody that I've been told from, it's like there's enough air resistance that happens that makes it to where like you don't feel like you're falling. It just kind of like holds you in the air for a while. So
okay, I've heard also that people after they go skydiving, they're like changed in different ways.
100%.
But like chasing that high, that adrenaline high, is that a real thing? Like things are less exciting now?
I ran everywhere I went for 2 weeks straight, like afterwards, because I was so excited about life. Literally, I had to run because I had so much adrenaline. But it just opens your eyes to like how precious life is, but also like how amazing the thing you just did was. Like how many people get to do that. And I mean, I recommend it. I really do.
I mean, the dopamine rush and stuff that's happening, you're doing a huge spike. So there probably is a little bit of like gold medal syndrome. We had another guest.
It doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. Like, it makes me want to go skydiving again someday. But I'm not like, oh, nothing is fun anymore.
Okay.
You know?
I will consider
You just have to get yourself back to baseline.
Some point. Not giving you a timeline on this.
Next time, we're
I don't
gonna go.
need it documented anywhere that, Rebecca said on October 3rd she's going to go skydiving.
We're gonna put it October 3rd. We're gonna put it.
Yeah.
Okay. October 3rd. We're gonna go skydiving.
I'll go with you. My birthday is 2 days
That's the day that Taylor Swift's new album comes out. I can't die on that day.
You can play it while you're there.
Play it in your ears while you're falling in the air.
Okay, that's kind of magical. Okay, hang on.
The most like amazing release ever. Like if you ever meet, like I listened to this album 10,000 feet in the air when I was falling.
Yeah.
So.
And I didn't die, and it's because of Taylor.
Yeah, there we go.
Same deal.
So when it comes to animals and stuff, I know we've kind of gotten a little bit into your journey with animals. I know your family owns a ranch. Yeah, ranch. Your family owns a ranch, so there's obviously some influence there. But where does your journey with animals go? I know that you used to be a vet tech, right?
Correct.
Okay. So bring me through your journey with like animals and kind of how your journey with them has begun and how it's kind of affected you.
I like working with animals is my safe space, like my peace and serenity. So I grew up on a ranch, doing a whole bunch of manual labor because it was just a dirt lot when we got it. It was an eviction case. So like the house was abandoned. They abandoned all their animals. It was a whole mess. So we didn't even have like running water to go out to the animals when we got them. So every morning before school, we just had like the big 5-gallon buckets of water, and we'd tote them down there and fill up everybody's waters before school. It was hardcore.
Teaches you hard work and like perseverance, you know?
Yeah. And then we got baby cows. So not only were we doing like the morning feeds and waters, which is a workout and a half, but we're having to like bottle feed calves and then go get ready for school. So
waking up at the crack of dawn at that point then.
before the sun. Yeah,
Oh, God.
crazy.
You can't not do it.
Exactly, yeah. So that's kind of where it was instilled in me for animal care. And from there, I grew up wanting to be a veterinarian. So when it was time for college and stuff and time for me to start volunteering and get my experience up, I was going to ASU for pre-vet. And then I started volunteering at Wildlife World Zoo. And I fell in love. It was so much fun. Even though on my first day volunteering, I got smacked in the face by a monkey.
I was gonna say,
I was like, you know, that this is actually really cool. And I met some really good friends through the zoo that I'm still friends with today. And I got hired on there, which is cool. So I volunteered in birds and primates, and I volunteered in the aquarium, and then I got hired in the education department. And that's kind of where my public speaking journey took off too, because I was hosting live shows and I was doing news and radio, bringing our like animal ambassadors to different events.
Wow,
So that was really fun. This is my little Steve Irwin era. Really cool.
I love it.
From there,
Rest in peace.
I know,
Oh my gosh,
Just
don't
the-
bring it up.
One of the greatest.
the best human being ever.
Literally.
So from there, it was getting tough because the zoo is really hard work too. They're open 365 days a year. There's not a day that goes by where animals don't need fed or cared for.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of sacrifice, you know, long, mostly hot days outside. And I worked on my 21st birthday.
Oh wow.
And the zoo did a really cute like surprise lunch for me. And then they like called me out during one of the wildlife encounter shows. It was really cute. I was working on like Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's. Like it was kind of brutal, losing a lot of family time. But I was also doing night school in college, and I was just getting really burnt out. So what had happened was I took my dog to her vet appointment, and I'm sitting there in my zoo uniform, just like covered in blood, sweat, and tears, right? Sitting there with my dog, just tired. And the girl at the desk is like, "What do you do?" And I was like, "Well, I work at the zoo." And she's like, "Do you need a job?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Why? Why are you asking?" And she's like, "Well, we're hiring, and you obviously have experience with animals." So one thing led to another, and I got hired by them. So I worked in that animal hospital for just over 2 years, also through college. But that schedule allowed me to get back to a regular like work, school, life balance. So that was nice. From there, I had a sudden career change and education change. So the hospital I worked at, we took in a lot of fourth-year grad students and new grad doctors, and I just got to see day in and day out how miserable they were. And like watching them have literal panic attacks and meltdowns in their offices. And I'm like, oh my God, that's going to be me in a couple years. Because I was in this semester where I was going to apply for vet school. And I was seeing like the pinnacle of like these kids, essentially. They're like not much older than me. They're in, you know, grad school, just crumbling under the pressure and crying, tears, guys and girls, by the way. Crying because they're like, well, you know, the hospital politics, like it's not in it for the animals, they're in it for the profit, and it's hard. And I totally get that. And my values aligned with theirs to where like I was in it exclusively for the animals. Like I wasn't making the best money, but I was saving lives, so it was worth it. But seeing that and like being at the point where I needed to pull the trigger on vet school applications, I just like, you know, heard a voice in the back of my head saying like, don't do it. Do not do it. Like change your path. So I did. And I left ASU and I left the veterinary career. I went back to coaching gymnastics, which I had done for years and years. And I applied for GCU for a business degree in marketing and advertising. And then the gymnastics career took off. I got accepted to GCU, got like grants and scholarships out the gate, and I ended up graduating with honors, and that's how I got into the marketing world. But then I was like, well, I'm no longer working with animals, and now I'm sad. So fast forward, a couple years ago, my dad rescues a bird. a little cockatiel from one of his construction sites. And he's like, well, you have a cockatiel here. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? And he's like, I don't know, you have one. I'm like, valid. So I took him in and I was trying to find his home because he was an adult bird and he knew how to say things. So I was like, clearly someone's missing this bird.
Mm-hmm.
So in an attempt to find this bird's owners, I posted on Nextdoor about the bird. Nobody was claiming him, but in my search, looking for lost pet posts, is like every fourth post was something where someone was needing help with their animals, whether it was like nail trim, ear cleaning, bathing, help me administer medications, that you name it, it was in there. And I'm like, why the heck are there so many like animal things? So upon my research and already knowing that there's like a vet staff shortage already, and it's already limited to get your pets in for a tech appointment like that. Right. That doesn't involve a veterinarian just because they're so short-staffed. I was like, let me put a post up here just to see if people need my help. And I posted it, and I put my phone away, and I went to bed.
Oh boy.
Can't wait.
Famous last words. So I woke up, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I posted on Nextdoor. Let me hop in there and see. And I had 55 DMs just from overnight of people being like, can you come trim my dog's nails? Or can you bathe my dog? Can you help me administer meds to my cat? Are you available to pet sit? Like, you name it. Or like, watch my farm while I'm out of town because I don't know anyone that doesn't know livestock.
Yeah.
And I was like,
wow.
Thanks, God. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So I turned it into a business, and it's been going strong.
Wow.
And that got me back with animals. And then starting pageantry, I just kind of piggybacked off of it to where that business is now spearheading big philanthropy efforts in the animal welfare space. So now it's just like this full circle moment. I'm so excited.
Incredible. That's cool.
It's a lot.
Like,
It's a weird, wonky journey. It takes a lot of twists and turns, but
I love those
we're
like
here.
accidental business stories.
Yeah.
Of, like, not just some like trust fund kid that's just like, oh, I just started a crypto type of thing and just did that. But like those kind of things of like, you find your own issue and you're like, why is there's nobody helping these people? Like, obviously, yeah, there's a lot of like veterinarians and stuff around here, but it's such a pain in the butt. Like, I delayed getting my dog vaccinations and stuff for a certain amount of time, but she was also an indoor dog, so she wasn't ever around other animals, so it wasn't ever like the biggest priority for me. But in order to get her groomed and stuff, I needed to get that, and so it was like, okay, well, in order to get a $35 nail trimming, I need to pay for $90 this, but I also need to pay for this. And I'm like, oh, okay, so $500 later. And now I'm like, okay, just to do something that I could hopefully try to do on my own.
Right.
But then, like, there's so much that goes into being able to cut the nails. And it's not just like, oh, yeah, let's get some nail clippers and clip their nails or something. So it's like, obviously, there's a big need for something like that.
I think going to their houses is a big deal too.
Yeah.
You know, because probably some people are like older and they can't take their animals places and things, and like horses and, you know, whatever you take care of.
Oh yeah, and that was a big rewarding part of it too, because I was helping people that just had like busy schedules, and it's hard to get into the vet these days. So as the word started spreading, you know, my name kept floating around like senior communities. Like, oh, like she'll come to your house and help your pets. It's so nice. You don't have to hassle getting your cat or dog in the car. So like helping them out was beautiful because pets enrich our lives in so many ways and have such a positive impact on our mental health that like being able to provide such an easy resource for senior pet owners. Yeah. Like, you got to keep the pets with the people. It's so good for them. So good for us. It's good for everybody. Yeah. And then I have some clients that are like disabled veterans. It's like hard for them to leave their house. Yeah. Or I have like senior pets, and it's hard for the pets to leave the house. Yeah. So there's like a whole slew of demographics that I didn't even realize at the time like needed that resource. Right. And I'm so glad I'm on speed dial for them now, because it's really fun getting to help them out.
Well, and just because I come from a little bit of like a grooming background. I wasn't an actual groomer myself, but I did dog bathing and stuff when this is one of my first jobs. I had friends, their parents owned a dog grooming place, and so we would do that.
Nice.
And one of the reasons why like their business took off is because like a lot of other commercialized places, like there's been so many instances of like huge corporate places that just don't treat the animals good. It's just like you get underpaid staff that just like, I'm here for 12 hours, I'm getting bid and stuff, and like it's just like it's a stressful environment. Animals can sense a stressful environment, so when you're bringing them into a place that there's just screaming and this and that and this and that happening, it's just overstimulating for the animals. And so they're going to be taking it out, and like they don't know what's going on. Like, why do I have a muzzle on me now? Oh yeah, you have a sharp object next to my face. What's this? And especially like first, like my dog hates water. She absolutely will not touch water. So it takes very gentle, very much like helping her soothe bathing. So like I know that I don't know if I can trust bringing it to a regular vet that's just like, oh, okay, do this, boom, boom. I'm like, no, she needs like, she's been abused by water before I got her. She needs that extra little bit of tenderness and care and stuff. And so when they're able to find someone that they can personally like talk to you and stuff, and not just be like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna go take it to the other person that you've never even talked to go handle what essentially is like your child at that point.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like how people think about daycare. Like a lot of times it's like, I don't trust daycares because you don't know what they're doing after you drop them off. The amount of horror stories that I've heard from daycares.
Oh, I've seen them too on the vet side.
Yeah.
People rushing their pets in, be like, I just picked him up from daycare. I just got a call from the groomer, and the dog is literally like unconscious. It's so infuriating. And it's exactly like you said, like there's a shortage, or it's these like corporations that wanted to expand so much that they're now taking any random Joe Schmo off the street that's not qualified. It doesn't have the patience. Patience is a huge aspect of animal care. And I always tell my clients, if I have them booked back to back, I'm like, I work on the pet schedule, so I could either be early or late for this. So I'm just going to give you this window and I'll be there. And they love and respect that, because I had a parrot the other day. It was an underlying medical condition he had already had. I'd worked with this parrot many times. He had a seizure during his beak trip.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, I've experienced pets having seizures before. His owner knew about it and was like, oh, you know, he's seizing right now, but he'll come out of it in just a second. So I'm like holding him, and I'm making sure that he's staying responsive, and he was fine. He came out of it, and I stayed with him, and I didn't do anything else to him until like his eye reflexes came back on both sides, and he's perfectly fine. But it's like, if someone else had done that and seen that, like it could have taken a very different turn.
Oh, yeah.
Because escalating in that situation is not helpful for anybody. So.
And it's worth it for paying for that extra level of care of someone that's able. I mean, the amount of times I've called you like, hey, my dog is doing this. Like,
and I love when people do that.
Yeah. And obviously, like, it gets annoying sometimes. I have friends in medical school that, like, they get called for the most random stuff, but it's like a trust thing. And I mean, the fact that guy just trusted you, and he was just like, oh yeah, then like you didn't freak out because you had the experience and stuff. It's a whole different level. So I don't know, I liked it a lot.
I feel like in those scenarios, if it wasn't you, like some people would just think to put your animal down.
Yeah.
Because that kind of happened to me. I'm going to try not to cry right now. My cat blew a blood clot, and I went to two different vets, and they were like, there isn't really any literature on how to deal with this, so you just have to put her down. And they were like, we could try this scenario, but it's going to cost you $25,000, and we don't know if it's going to work. And I was like, I can't leave her here, like, because they said it was going to take 5 days and she could die while she was in there. And I was like, I can't, like, leave her in this environment, and, like, she could die without me. So just because they didn't know what to do, I had to put my cat down. Sorry to make that super sad. But
no, I mean, it's the reality. I mean, it's the same thing, like, with general medical stuff these days. The amount of times that I've even gone through the fact that if you don't go to the right person, you're not going to get the right diagnosis sometimes. Right. Because bodies, whether it's animal or human, are all different. And like the amount of times, like, we've even had mental stuff on here that's been misdiagnosed at first because we can't go in and see exactly what's going on, or we don't have the exact knowledge, or like not every doctor knows exactly how to cure every person or everything. And so it kind of gets to be one of those things that, like, unless you can afford the best of the best of the best. Unless you can do that and afford that person that did do 30 years at the same thing and has like this huge specialized practice, who isn't overworked and who has a true passion for it, rather than just someone who is just like, oh, I mean, I have my doctorate, but it was mostly frat parties and doing that during college and kind of like
that. And in emergency situations, they're not going to be open probably, so you get the emergency clinics and like they're tired and don't really care either. Luckily, the second vet was like super compassionate towards me, and I was in there for like 6 hours just like crying, like trying to decide, like asking them if there was anything they could do. So I was grateful for that. But like, I think it's really cool what you're doing, and I wanted to like bring it back to like, you said that there's so many people that need this out there. Did you get to expand it all? Do you have other people helping you, or do you just do it by yourself?
It's just me right now.
Wow.
I feel like something like that would be a little bit harder to expand because it is such a personal relationship that you have with them, and unless it's someone that like that you know and that you can advocate and that you can trust putting your name behind, and knowing that they're going to carry on the trust that you give the client, it's not going to be the same. Like,
That's true.
I am a little selfish in that sense too, because it's hard to find someone to bring along on my journey that has that same level of experience and
care.
My whole world revolves around animals, and I'm super excited about it. So I think for now, like down the road, definitely I want to expand, because I've been sought out by investors who want to like have me have a van and do like public outreach to like the homeless pet populations, which I would love to do. So that's definitely one of my bigger goals for down the road. But I think for right now, it's going so well, and I am in control of my flow with it. And my people that I have now, I have just shy of 50 clients, like regular clients. I know.
That is
I had to count it up the other day, and I had to count it again, and I'm like, what? That's a lot of people.
Yeah. And you're still balancing that on top of a regular 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Why haven't you just made the jump?
Oh man, you sound like my business coach.
It's one of those things that like I have no problem with people that want to do like a 9 to 5 type of thing, but if it isn't what you love to do, if it's not something that like, if it feels like a job and there is something else, like the whole thing with entrepreneurship, and they teach this like to new entrepreneurs and stuff, of like the proper way to do it is once your side business becomes as lucrative or more lucrative than your main thing, you're good to go. And it sounds like it's getting to that point, at least.
Definitely getting there. And I've had this conversation with my business coach that I worked with like the first half of the year. I don't think Feather and Fur is there yet. And I also love my legal marketing job.
Right.
It's also work from home like 90% of the time. So it gives me the flexibility to work from clients' homes.
Okay.
So because I can do them simultaneously,
why quit? Yeah.
And I love
That's
my
a
job.
perfect scenario.
I would just be worried at that point about burnout, though, because yes, you can technically do them simultaneously, but that's still energy you're expelling. That's still concentration that you're trying to do. It's still different schedules that you're trying to coordinate.
Yeah.
So,
different scenarios with the pets and stuff too.
So I feel like that would be what I would worry about. Like, obviously, yes, you can find a way to, I don't want to say balance, because I've listened to this other podcast that was saying balance is the most bullshit term you could ever think of. There's no such thing as
I don't
balance.
think I've ever felt it
It's
ever in life.
learning to harmonize, learning to let other things harmonize with each other. And it's just kind of like learning the harmony with it. I would like, obviously, I don't know what you deal with or anything, but I would just worry about the burnout that would come from just doing too much for too long like that.
I mean, did you hear her life story? She's been working her butt off for like her entire life
Since birth.
So she's used to it by now, right? How do you feel?
I'm glad you said that, because my best friend told me the other day when I was venting to her about just pressure I was feeling. My friends and my immediate circle, they know that I'm a workhorse, and they love and respect that about me. So they're very good about holding space for me to vent, because I know what I'm doing, and I will make changes when I feel that I need to for my mental health and my physical health. But if it's just this, if I just need to vent, like they'll let me vent. And I was venting to my best friend about like oh man, like there's so much like pageant pressure building up, and now I'm leaving in like 2 weeks for it, so it's, you know, multiplied tenfold. But in that moment, I had like said to her that I don't feel like I'm doing enough, and she's like, you
Oh my god.
You sound like me.
she's like, you are literally operate as like 6 people in one baseline. Like, what
Yeah.
what else are you gonna do? And I was like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm not doing enough. But she, you know, verbally knocked some sense into me and calmed me down. But as far as like balance, I think it's more of a harmony thing, because it does ebb and flow, like with the feather and fur business, where my legal marketing job is a constant. And we have such a good team there that like I've never been super stressed out there, which is beautiful. They're also very big on our mental health, because we are in charge of the social media for like just shy of 600 attorneys. Like it's a big firm.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of tasks, but we have the openness to go to management and be like, I just need a day. Like, I'm burnt out.
I love that.
And they're like, yeah, dude, go for it. That's
That
why
does not
everyone's
happen very
cross-trained.
No, that is such a rare commodity to have, especially in a
cross-trained.
corporate. Yeah,
That's cool.
that's
Yeah, at least
that's
on my
insane.
social media team, everyone is cross-trained. So if I can't be there, I have at a minimum 2 others that can. Wow. So it's really, really nice to have that support. And I'm open with them about the fact that I have a business and I do pageants and all this other stuff. And I can call my boss and be like, hey, I have this gig. It's unfortunately like at noon. Like, can I just take a long lunch and flex my hours around it? And she's like, oh yeah, I don't care.
That's
I was like,
awesome.
this is literally the best. So that's why I'm not leaving that
Are you
job.
salary or hourly?
Hourly.
Oh wow, okay. So wow, that's even more like impressive to have that kind of flexibility with that then.
Yeah. They
think
also
that's-
know that I'm very loyal. Like, I will work until the job is done for them.
Mm,
So they know that I'm not just like,
Milking the hours.
yeah.
Having that structure is probably really good for you too, because if you
Yes.
just quit and then like it was like low for your other business, then you would probably be freaking out and also thinking that you're not doing enough. And so you should
And then
definitely
do
keep
more.
that really cool job for now. Until
oh
it's
heck
too much.
yeah. I brag about it shamelessly any chance I get. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
gonna stay there until they kick me out.
I want to
Drag me from the building.
I want to touch a little bit more on that not doing enough thing, because I noticed there's trends of people that say that versus those who don't. I feel like the ones who say it the most are the ones who do the most.
Yeah.
Like you're never going to hear that from that stoner guy that's just on his couch playing video games all day. You'll never hear him say, I just feel like I'm not doing enough. He's content with what he's doing. He's like, if I could just do this all day and be good, I'm 100% okay with that. But it's those who are doing 20 million things at once are like, I still feel like I'm not doing enough. I want to know, I've kind of pieced it together for myself where it kind of comes from, but we have very different backgrounds. So I'm kind of curious for you where that drive, where that kind of thing of you feel like you're not doing enough, even when you know you're doing 20 million different things comes from.
I think it can stem from seeing how my parents were growing up. They're very hardworking individuals. Both of them made huge changes to better their lives. My mom lived across the country. She was in Indiana, and there wasn't a lot of prosperity out there for her. So she moved to Arizona, brought her parents with, and, you know, went to school, got a great job, you know, bettered her life that way, but had zero support system in doing so. Same thing for my dad. My dad's from Spain. He moved to the U.S. in his early 20s, and he came out here on an agricultural visa and, you know, completed his naturalization while he was with my mom. My mom helped teach him English. It was really cool. But both of them are such workhorses also. Like, my mom was going to school and working full-time and being a mom,
Wow.
like a present mom. Like, she was at my choir concerts and
Cute.
dance competitions and all that stuff. And so was my dad. They just worked crazy hours. So if there was one that, you know, mom couldn't go to, and they weren't at everything because that's unrealistic, but they were at the important stuff. And, you know, being raised on a ranch, you know, if the work doesn't get done, there's problems.
Right.
So I was always kind of conditioned that, like, hell, high water, rain or shine, like the work has to get done. So that's kind of my mentality going through it, especially being in animal care. You can't just not work. And if you work with attorneys, you know you can't just not work because they're very needy. They're needy and they do great work and they want their work published. So that's completely valid.
That is interesting with like the discipline thing, because I feel like discipline is one of those things that isn't talked about enough, or isn't, I guess, the awareness. Like people talk about motivation and stuff, and like, I just don't feel motivated to do stuff today, or I said I don't feel that kind of motivation. And that's kind of how I was like when I was getting into entrepreneurship at first. Like I was very motivated and stuff at first, but there were plenty of days where I'm not. And you would look at people that are on the top: Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, all those people that claim to be working all these crazy hours. Like, how do you stay so motivated? And they're like, motivation is the most bullshit term you could ever think of.
Preach.
You don't go off of motivation. You go off of, it's teaching yourself discipline. Joe Rogan says all the time, like, half the shit, like, you have to do stuff that you don't want to do. Like, I think it was Mike Tyson was saying on his podcast, like, discipline is doing what you hate doing like you love doing it. And it's so much easier said than done.
Yes.
As someone, like, I wasn't taught discipline growing up. And that's one of the reasons why I've noticed that it's such a harder thing for me. My mom was not employed. I didn't have a present dad in my teenagehood. Like, up until like I was 12, I was fine. But like after 12, I was raised by a single mom who wasn't working. And I wasn't given that example of what it's like to work that hard, of what it's like. I've heard other people like, oh, my mom had 3 jobs and stuff doing that. I'm like, your mom was showing you, though, discipline. You think she wanted to go to all 3 of those jobs? No, absolutely not. She wanted to be at home cooking dinner and stuff and just hanging out with you guys, but she knew that she had to. She was showing you an example of what it looks like to do something you really don't want to do, but you know you have to do it. And I think that's such a thing that isn't taught as much these days, or isn't really understood. Like, I don't want to go to the gym as often as I do, but I go because I know how it makes me feel afterward. There's still, like, that's my number one struggle today.
How did you get past that? Because you're such a hard worker. So, like, I'm so interested to hear.
Well, that's the thing, is I haven't. Discipline, I'd say, is still the number one thing that I battle with to this day. On the outside, yes, it looks like I do 20 million things. And that's kind of where I was, what I was mentioning. Like, it's the people that do the most. Like, it got to a point where friends stopped hitting me up to hang out because I was just too busy all the time. But I did it that way on purpose because I'm like, I don't like the concept of boredom. Doesn't exist for me. Boredom
Me neither.
and tiredness, or boredom and rest, are 2 very different things. Boredom means that you have the energy to do something, but you're refusing to do it.
Right.
That means you'd rather just sit on your phone, even though you have energy, you have all this drive, you have the means and time to do stuff. You're just not doing it. Versus rest means that you just, like, your body's telling you, hey, chill out. You've been going. I believe in rest. Rest is something that you need constantly. You cannot continuously go without some rest. But boredom is something that I'm like, there shouldn't be days of just, I'm bored today. What's like, I used to have boredom days. I look back on those days now and I'm like, I could have been doing so much.
Yeah, boredom's a luxury.
Well, it's a luxury, but it's also something that no matter what place,
Drives us crazy.
it shouldn't exist. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much time you have. Boredom is not something, like, if you're that bored, that means that you just have too much time and energy and you need to go do something. If you have too much money, cool, go do something for free. Those are the people that need to be in the volunteering things and food kitchens and doing that. I'm like, oh, I'm a billionaire, but I have all this, I don't need to work or anything. Okay, cool. You know how many places can't afford to pay somebody that need the help?
Yeah.
Cool. Go do that. Or
But it's hard to find people that care about anything.
I know. And
It's
that's
so rare.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
where that line is drawn.
Yeah.
'Cause boredom is unused potential.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good way to say it.
But and that's kind of like with us, it's different. Like, it sounds like you were taught a lot of discipline growing up. With your parents, they showed you what it's like from a very early age. I'm sure there were more days than not that you didn't want to wake up that early to go feed and go do all the chores
yeah,
and
every
stuff
day.
before.
Every one of those days.
But today, I mean, it's
It paid off.
Yeah, it made
Yeah.
it to where now, like, you don't have to struggle as much with getting up super early. You don't have to have as much of those demons that try to come in and, like, oh, it's not 7 a.m. yet. I don't have to wake up. It's like you're conditioned already to be like, I've done harder than this before. I can do this. This is fine, type of thing.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one. And it's like I struggle with discipline in some ways also. And it comes from me prioritizing serving others versus serving myself.
I love that.
And I get a lot of reward from both. But when the schedule comes down to it, I almost always prioritize serving others.
Me too.
And it's hard because you have to serve yourself to recharge and reset,
Yeah.
or else you're going to consistently try pouring from an empty cup. You can't do that because there's nothing in there. So
Yeah.
I am proud to say that I was in bed for like almost 12 hours.
Yes.
My mom kind of like reality checked me yesterday because I was over at her home after a long day of meetings. And she's like, you look tired. I'm like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired, but I have like this reel to film. I have this content to film. I have to get ready for our podcast today. I have like, we're in a social media campaign right now for the pageant. So every day is content. So trying to stay ahead on that, but also staying ahead on my business. And she's like, stop.
Yeah.
You need to sleep. And I was like, but my apartment, like I need to do my dishes and I need to do my floors because my dog is shedding and I need to finish building my plant shelf that I've had for like almost a month now. And it's like, I'm not even joking. I put like 5 things together and I set it down and I'm like, I want to do that tomorrow. And it has not made any more improvement from there. So my plants are still on my counter, which is making things look cluttered. And it's hard for me to rest at home if there's like things to do. I don't know if you guys are like that.
I'm
Yeah.
the same way.
But yeah, my mom's like, you just like, don't even go grocery shopping because that was also on my list. She's like, just get food on your way home and just sleep. I was like, okay. So
Good.
So is there like
grabbed
kind
a
of like,
melatonin and knocked out for a long time. And I feel great now.
is there like a living up to your parents type of thing that you think that you have that drives that constant need to be doing more stuff? Like you're trying to be like your parents in a way?
Kind of.
Or is it just like your norm of overly exerting yourself in a way?
I think it comes naturally because, sorry to make it about me, but I was also raised with parents that worked really hard. And like, I guess there's a little bit of like, I want to be like my parents, but like, it's just what they instilled in me. So like, that's just how I feel now.
Gotcha.
That's,
That's
how I
what
take
you
it.
were raised like. Like that was
Yeah.
the standard.
Yeah.
I feel that way too. And I was always excited when I got opportunities when I was a child to like have my parents come to things, or like if I had an award ceremony and be like, oh
Right.
my gosh, they're going to be so proud because I'm like working as hard as them. And I've talked about that with my therapist too, because she called me a chronic high achiever. And I was like, yeah, because like, who am I if not my accolades? And she's like, let's unpack that.
Yeah.
So
What is that?
So definitely, it sounds like trying to live up to the hard work that your parents kind of showed you in a way. Okay.
That, and also like my mental health struggles from like a couple years ago. Like I was in a pretty dark place, but now that I'm like healed from that and I see how precious life is, like we were talking about with skydiving, it's like, why waste this time not doing anything?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that driving force comes from, paired with like the work ethic from my parents. And that's probably why I do the work of 6 people in life.
It's so, I don't know. I just find it so interesting to see like everyone's stem of those kinds of things, because like we have extremely different stems, but I feel like me and you have similar drives in that sense of just like I remember I'd hang out with previous friend groups and like, so what is Alex doing now? Because I was always constantly on the next thing. I was constantly building. And it's like, and it's not because like I would just give up. It was just like the shiny object syndrome of just like, oh, this opportunity. Oh, wait, but I want to do this. And like, well, right now I'm doing this, and this. And then it's like, I listed out loud. I'm like, oh shit. Wow. Okay.
You're like, I
like
am
I-
doing a lot.
I feel like I get where it comes from in a way because my parents both grew up like without like really good role models as well. So like they've told me that they like wanted to change their lives from their childhood, and maybe that's where you get it. It's just
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah. For me, it's definitely wanting to not repeat the kind of lifestyle I had growing up.
yeah.
It's not to put like baggage or anything on my parents. I know they did the best they could with what they had.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it's one of those things that like I vowed like I will never give my future family the life that I had growing up. I want to make sure that they are provided for in every single way, that I give myself that life. Like I don't want to live at all the way that I grew up on government assistance, and never like I grew up at times of like homelessness or like not knowing where the next meal was coming from.
It's just really hard. Yeah.
Like even though I wasn't shown necessarily the discipline, it was like I was shown what happens when you don't have discipline and like when you don't achieve these kinds of things. And I was like, fuck, well, if I don't do this, and if I don't do that, and if I don't make this money, or if I don't do that, this is what I get to look forward to. And that's not the prettiest sight in the world. So
Yeah. Definitely not.
I want to go back to the moment you just said that you were in a dark place.
yes. Okay. I'm so glad you did that. I was like, okay, we need to visit that. This is therapy session.
Yeah.
So
This is
that's
therapy
actually
sessions.
I had that in the question. I wanted to like
I'm getting better at hosting podcasts.
Yes, I love it.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes, so that dark time that you're mentioning, was that, do you think, the darkest time of your life, or was that just a dark time?
There were a couple that were only a few years apart. It wasn't really until I was working in the veterinary field and like carrying the weight of the industry on my back. Like it's emotionally taxing. And then you add in hospital politics, and then you add in the fact that I was in college as well. And then, you know, toying with the idea of not being in vet med anymore. There was just a lot that I had to process. So that's when I started using like my work's employee assistance program to like see their counselors and therapists, and you know, working with them for however long I was with them. I honestly can't remember. It was a couple months. They kind of planted the seed of like, okay, well, it sounds like you're dealing with some like anxiety and depression. And I'm like, that's weird, because like growing up, like mental health wasn't ever really talked about. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I'll just stick that information in my back pocket and carry it with me, because I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So I kind of continued on. Didn't change much because I didn't really understand. And although the therapist was great, I wasn't really like close enough with him to like feel comfortable enough to unpack that. So I just kind of like wrote it down somewhere and carried on with my life. So that's not cool, because then everything else just kind of added up on top of it. But I didn't know any better.
Right.
I was like 22 maybe. So fast forward, and I am in a relationship that is not healthy. And I didn't know at the time, because it's hard to see the big picture when you're right here. And I, you know, timelines with that partner, it was just like, it made sense to societal standards. So I was like, okay, I guess this is just what life is right now. You know, I've heard people say like, you know, pick your idiot. You know, they're all gonna suck in some way, which is horrible. And I don't mean that in a derogatory sense.
Pick your poison.
That's
Literally. So I was like, okay, well, I guess this is life. You know, we're gonna make it work. And there were great times in that relationship. And when it was good, it was great. But when it was bad, it was like real bad. And it was hard for me to mentally navigate and see like, okay, well, there shouldn't be these highs and lows, or like highs just enough to where the lows like aren't enough to make me leave. And I think over time, there were some manipulation tactics in place to where I was kind of conditioned to not really react as much. So, wasn't healthy. I had a very scary health scare in that relationship with my birth control failing and having a miscarriage where I almost lost my life.
Oh my gosh.
And that was just in 2020. So dealing with the unhealthy relationship and then adding that to it, that made mental recovery from that really hard. So I went back into therapy. I was with her for almost a year. And that's when I got to fully unpack like the anxiety and depression side of things. Amazing. So although I went through something really traumatic for that long and then almost losing my life, like the information I gained out of it is information I wear as a badge of honor. Like I earned it.
Absolutely.
And I can help other people through it. So that was definitely one of the darkest times because there were nights where I would leave the bed and just be on the phone with the suicide hotline because it happened like 2 or 3 times. And I was just like telling them and like whispering, and they're like, well, are you safe? Like we can send somebody. Who's like, no, I just don't want to wake him up. And like, I didn't really have anyone to talk to about it because from the outside, we looked perfect.
Right.
So that was hard to navigate. I'm very thankful to the people I spoke to on the phone. But it got to the point with my therapist where she's like, I'm not supposed to like tell you what to do, but I want to, in a loving way, strangle you through Zoom. What are you doing, Becca? And I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, well, if you met him currently at a bar, would you talk to him? And I just like looked at her. And ironically, this phone call with her, I had taken from my car because I had pulled up at home. And he worked for a school, so he was on a school schedule. It was over the summer, so he was home. And I knew he wasn't going to give me privacy for my therapy call, or he'd be sitting outside the door or something.
Oh, fuck.
So I took it from my car, and I could see him in the blinds of the bedroom. Wow. Like, she asked me that, and I'm, like, looking at her and looking at him, and I'm like, ooh. It all came crashing down. I was like, dang, she's right. She's right. So leaving that relationship was really messy because he was threatening self-harm. And I was just at my wit's end. And there was a lot of backlash for me not having an emotional reaction to the breakup. Although, sure as shit, when I was on my own time, yeah, I was hysterically crying and having like an existential crisis. But I just didn't have any more emotion to give him because of how much he robbed from me.
Yeah.
And there was just a lot of negativity being thrown my way because I was considered heartless or cold. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I suffered the whole relationship. I don't have any more tears for you.
Literally.
Yeah.
So left that, and then I was okay therapy-wise. Like, I was doing really well. And then I haven't talked about this one much. I don't think we've talked about it.
New juice.
It's
new tea.
It's new tea. It's not the best tea. Not one you want to drink, but I had started dating again, and I don't think I've ever like talked about this publicly. So I started dating again, and I met someone off of Tinder, and long story short, because I fear my emotions will take over if I dive in too much, but
if you need to be emotional, this is the perfect place to do it.
This is therapy sessions. Yeah.
You have no idea how many tears have been shed already.
I've cried every time.
Almost every episode she's crying. I don't have the capacity to cry that well on spot. Mm-hmm. I can cry in private, but like on the spot, it's not that much. But
not that you need to cry.
If you need tissues or something, we have it. This is a no judgment thing. This is a whole. If you need to cry, get emotional. That's what this is about, vulnerability and being able to share a story that others could possibly relate to and stuff, because you don't know who it could touch. So I just want to preface that with like, don't worry about being emotional. That's what this is for. We're trying to break the stigma of the emotional stuff. So. And I'm sure, I don't know what it is, but I'm sure that there's someone that's listening to this
100%.
That's going to be like, thank you for putting a voice behind it. I'm so happy you mentioned it. I'm so happy you talked about it. I
had the same kind of scenario, just of what your story with your ex. Like, mine wasn't probably as bad, but like it was similar. So I'm sure there's somebody listening.
I don't want to like push too much for this story.
No, let's let her talk.
I'll tiptoe in. If the water's fine, I'll jump.
Yeah. Okay,
so really
Tinder
sorry.
guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really sorry you had to go through an awful relationship too, because it really strips you of your dignity. It's awful. But when I started dating again, like I had dated a couple people casually, a couple first dates, whatever. But I was still kind of hesitant from my last relationship. So I met someone off Tinder. They were a first responder, and I was like, okay, well, it's like safe, right? Like I can go. He country dance too, so like, all right, that's cool. So I met up with him at a local country bar that I've gone to many, many, many times, and like conversation was flowing. Another friend of mine was there, met him. They were vibing, cool. He was getting really pushy with drinks, and I'm not
Like having you drink more? Oh, okay.
And I'm not sure about some of the events of the night, and I'll get to that in a second. But ultimately, I think you know where this is going.
Yeah.
Because I did not drink enough that night to not be in control of my actions. But I also had a really awful thing happen, because when I got to the bar, I was there a couple minutes before him, and I was just like charging my phone a little bit more in my car, and then my car battery died as I was in the parking lot. So I was like, okay, cool. Like maybe my friend that was there too could drive me home, because we live in the same area. But he got a little tipsy himself, and was like, whatever, I'll just like call an Uber. So it got to the point where I'm like not fully with it, and he kept like bringing me drinks, and I'm like, dude, no, like I don't drink this much, like I don't. But now I understand why he was being pushy with the drinks, because he had ulterior motives. And I was trying to order an Uber, and he was like, well, I'll just drive you home, like I see your address right there. And I'm like, no, like I'll do it. But obviously I was not all there, so he drove me home. And like part of the reason why we had started talking is because we both have retrievers. And he's like, oh, is your dog here? I'm like, yeah, but like it's my sister's house, so they're not going in there.
Right,
Like
yeah.
my sister, her husband, her son are in there. My dog's in there. Their dog's in there. I was like, no, like I'll text you tomorrow. And he ended up following me inside.
Kind of suck.
And
Whoa, that takes a lot of balls.
yeah, and I went over this with my therapist that helped me through this one many times, because I couldn't fathom, and it wasn't until I talked to the therapist that I found out that like substances were at play. So I was like, I literally don't know how, like that timeline. And ultimately, like my sister had walked in and saw what was happening, freaked out. She didn't know what was going on. So she kicks the guy out, and she tells me to get out. And like from her perspective, I get it. And like I talked to my sister about it, and like we're cool. So, but it took me over a year to talk to her about it. So I was carrying the guilt of that and this, which is still the part that I don't really talk about that much. So she kicked me out. I was not coherent. Nobody was answering their phone. It was 2 a.m. And I had called my mom. I'd called a couple of my best friends like so many times. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I was mortified because like my sister had seen, and I don't even know what she had seen. And I was like, how did we get here? Why is this man like on top of me? How did he get in? How did I get home? Like, so I'm talking to my therapist, and I'm like kicking myself. I'm like, I can't believe I let that happen. And she's like, every person that I've coached through sexual assault that had been drugged battles with that same, like, how the F did I get here?
Yeah.
And she's like, if you weren't drinking, would you let that happen? I was like, no. She's like, if you had a couple drinks, would you let that happen? I was like, no, because I'm not even that big of a drinker. With my anxiety, I don't like feeling not in control of myself.
Right.
So, and I don't drink anymore, which is really good for my brain. So that's nice. Can't have that happen again if you don't drink.
Yeah, exactly.
But I didn't know what to do, and no one was answering, and I couldn't talk to my sister. So I called 911. I was trying to find the suicide hotline because I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was embarrassed and terrified and had no support in the moment. And my brain was like, take as many pills as you can find now. Like, end it. Don't even care. And I was about to go do that. But I was like, I'm just going to make one more call. And I called 911. And I was like, I just need help. I was like, I don't know what happened. I need help. And they were like, oh, we have someone right down the street. Like, go ahead and like grab like your clothes, your wallet, whatever, and like meet him outside. and my sister, like, obviously with the Ring camera, like, saw that there were officers outside, and I, like, Officer Lawrence Crouch with Goodyear PD, thank you so much, because I, like, crumbled in his arms, and I was like, I don't know what's happening, like, and he kind of pieced together what was going on, and he was just like, let's just get in the car, like, we'll talk. And I was like, I just need to go somewhere. I can't go home. I can't be here. I'm in fucking sweatpants and no bra, and I don't know that guy and what happened. So they took me to somewhere, I don't even know, but I had to stay there. It was on observation, and that alone was terrifying because I'm still not of the right state of mind, and I'm around a lot more people that are far worse off than me. It was very scary there, and I ended up sitting in the floor of the nurse's office because she saw that I was terrified. And once I was cleared to, like, make my phone calls home, because my sister came out when I was being escorted out, and she was like, where are you taking her, and they're like, well, we'll figure that out later, like, she'll be safe. And I'm glad that he did that because I needed that time. And I got cleared to make my phone call for someone to come pick me up, and I called my mom, and the whole ride home, like, bless her, she didn't know, but, like, nobody cared to ask if I was okay. No one asked if I was okay. They were like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
No.
Cry. It's okay. It's okay.
Not one person asked if I was okay. They just asked why I did that. Like, I got a lecture on my way home, and I was, oh, man, good thing this is Waterford. Yeah, don't cry. Be brave.
I feel
It's
like,
okay to cry.
I feel like people who might have not gone through something like that wouldn't know what to say. Because, not to make it about me again, I went through something similar a couple of times. But I mean, kind of in a way, luckily didn't tell anyone for a long time. So I didn't have, like, the reprimand or anything, but it's like, I couldn't tell anybody because I didn't know what they were going to say, because I was feeling the same way of, like, how did I let that happen? What did I do? So how did that, like, how is your relationship with your mom now? Were you able to tell her? No. Yeah.
I talked to my sister because I was living with her at the time, and then I moved back home because she kicked me out, which is fine.
She still kicked you out after all that?
Well, did she kick you out after knowing actually what happened?
It took me like a year to tell her.
Okay, so she kicked you out still under the presumption of what she
This is
thought.
one instance, though. Like, the fact that you were taken away by police should have been, I mean, enough for her to worry and not kick you out.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But I was at my mom's and just sleeping in her guest bedroom. Like, as soon as I got home or to my mom's, I was in bed for like 24 hours, like didn't move, was mute, just like sitting there processing.
I mean, you couldn't even remember half of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sitting there trying to like mental gymnastics to try to connect any of those dots.
Yeah.
And my mom had brought my sister and her husband over, and she's like, hey, they're here for you to apologize.
Oh, fuck.
My God.
And I was like, I don't know. And like, I haven't even talked to my mom about it, so I should probably talk to her before this airs.
I can't believe that.
But like, from their perspective, they were doing what they felt was right, but because they did not think to ask me or check to see if I was okay or anything.
Yeah. They never.
Like, instantly I was the perpetrator, not the victim. And that made it very hard for me to talk about it for a very long time.
I think that's one of the things that I think is the toughest part about any type of situation that has to do with like sexual abuse or anything. If you've never been through a situation like that, you don't know how to handle other people going through a situation like that.
They weren't even aware that it was a thing.
You're going based off of what you think might have happened and what you think the situation is. it takes somebody who understands the emotion and stuff behind. Like if you, I'm sure if you would have talked to somebody else that had also been, their first question would have been, how are you right now? Are you okay? Are you safe? Do you need anything? But that's because we as people who have gone through that know that like you don't even know what's going on in your head. You're so jumbled up in your head. It's I mean, I question myself even to this day. I still question the molestation stuff that happened to me. I still say like it didn't happen this bad, or this person had it worse than me, so do I get to say that I went through that?
Right.
Absolutely, you do.
And it's like it's that hard, and it's like I'm sure there's a lot of victimization, like you were saying. You constantly, how did I end up in this place? How did I do this? How did I let this situation happen? That's the first thing we ask, because it's the fact that like we have so much control ourselves. We expect ourselves to have that high standard of like, no, I know I'm capable of so much more than this. How did I let myself slip into that when we can't, when there's external substances or when there's external factors? It's just the fact of the matter is we do the best we can in the situation at hand. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care if you're under inebriation. I don't care if you're under whatever. Like, the amount of times I've been in situations where I'm like, I'm a fucking protector. How did I not protect that person? How did I not fight this person off? How did I let this happen? I've been in so many fucking fights. I can take a punch. Why did I pussy out? I've gone through so many of those situations. I'm like, well, I did the best I could with what I had at that moment.
Yeah.
There was something that was saying to do this instead of that. And that's why it's like you can't put yourself in that victim spot of being like, how did I let myself? You didn't let yourself do anything. You were there to have a good time, to meet someone good, and to just have a good time. They were the one that had ulterior motives. They were the one that was doing something else, and you had to adapt at the situation at hand.
I think you did the best you could have possibly done. You know, and that's
Thank you for saying that.
There's nothing you could have done that could have changed. Like, you did what the situation was like. You did, like you said, the best you could have in that situation.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering is, your mom picked you up from that, like, probably psychiatric hospital situation, and she didn't even think to ask how you got there or why? Did you haven't talked to her about it?
I can't remember like exact conversation in the car, but I remember her like giving me a lecture about like making mistakes. And like, she wasn't mean to me by any means, but just the fact that no one took a second and stepped back and be like, Becca in her right mind would never do something like
Right, absolutely.
So I felt like my character up until that point like didn't fucking matter.
Right.
At all.
And it changed
And
immediately.
that's so frustrating to me, because like, do you even know me at that point?
Right.
Like, I've never done anything like rebellious or wrong. Like, sure, I got a tattoo and didn't tell my parents, and now I have 9, but like, I've never done, that's like the worst.
Yeah.
I literally was like a varsity cheerleader, like a very good student, like I graduated college with honors. Like, I've done everything right my whole life. And this one situation where I could have used an ounce of support,
You didn't get it?
You said you haven't really talked to her about the situation. I'm almost curious what the conversation would be if you did ask, like, about the character. Like, I'm like, in that kind of situation, I have the ability now to confront my parents for anything. So I just don't care. It's at that point of I've gained that kind of control over, just like, I will ask my parents, but I know a lot of people don't have that relationship with their parents, but
I haven't told my parents about mine.
I haven't really talked to my parents. It's not because I'm afraid of like what they'll say to me. It's, I don't want them to feel that kind of pain of like, I let that.
It's more peace of mind for me. Like, the pain that they'll know now that I made a mistake, or just even the fact, like, avoiding them saying something wrong to me is why.
I'm curious, like, what her response would be if you were to kind of confront her with, like, you know my character. why did you immediately just go to assume this if all evidence pointed to otherwise? Like, just to see like what she would say, because like she's your mom, she's been there for you your entire life. Like, what was going on in her brain that made it to where she thought the worst instead of questioning it, you know?
I think I'm scared because of how quickly everyone jumped to me being the problem in the situation. 'Cause
Right.
It's extremely hurtful. And, like, if that were my kid, it would be an immediate manhunt. And, like, I don't even care what or how led. The consent was not in the conversation.
Well, at least just ask about the situation. Like, they could have just literally, can you tell us as much as you know about the situation?
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
Probably
what
just
happened?
asked my sister, like, hey, what happened with Becca?
Well,
And they're
at that
going to say,
point-
oh, yeah, she was in a room with a guy.
Yeah, but to believe her over you without even asking, that's the first
just
rule. You
'cause, like,
ask you what happened.
You have to get both sides of the story. Like, hey, what happened? You know that it's probably not appropriate to bring someone back home to your sister's place. So what made you think it was okay? Or like, can you tell us what happened?
And they knew I would never do that.
Yeah.
Because, like, I had gone on dates with other people and, like, I had seen them for a little bit, like, during the time in which I lived with my sister. And, like, I've had people, like, pick me up from the house before. So, like, they know that I would, like, ask them and be like, hey, is it okay
Right.
if they pick me up there? Because it's their house and their child lives there. Like, respect. I'm not on any kind of lease or anything. So, like, because they had seen that character and, like, immediately disregarded it.
Yeah.
And, like, they didn't care is the issue. And I think that's what's holding me back with wanting to open that can of worms again.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I've already moved on.
Yeah.
Like, it still hurts to talk about because, you know.
It's always going to hurt.
I personally, I wouldn't bring it up myself.
See, we're two different people. I would.
I don't want to hurt again.
It's
Yeah.
Because they're not going to give me the answer that I want them to give me.
well, that's the thing is you don't know. I feel like
I know
there's
my
an answer.
parents.
There's an answer that you want, but I feel like there's also like a question of like, why didn't you ask me? Like, it's not just telling them a situation. It's like this
Do you
is.
need to know that answer though? Like,
I don't know. It's such like a devil's advocate.
It is.
thing.
I can see and respect both sides, and I think I'm scared of the whys that'll come with me opening that up again. Or like, well,
Yeah.
why didn't you want to like press charges?
Right.
Like, it took me
Well, and
time
then-
to get into therapy because I immediately just like avoided it, and up until like my therapist is like, this is what happened to you, by the way.
Well, and especially with someone who hasn't gone through it, it is that much more harder to talk to them about it because they do ask those questions. Why didn't you press charges? Why did this happen? Why didn't that happen?
you have no idea how I was feeling.
Because it's like,
And what is
that's-
that going to do?
I wasn't even here to like make that judgment call.
Well,
and then by the time I found out that's what happened, like it's
Too
like,
late.
no rape kit was done.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
no talk screens were done. There's no legal leg for it to stand on.
Yeah.
And that part I've come to peace with.
Right.
It's like I'm forever going to be stronger from the situation
100%.
and they're forever going to have to live with the fact that they did something disgusting
Yeah.
Yeah.
to an inebriated person.
I don't know. It's such like a difficult thing with discussing it with people, and especially when it's like someone who doesn't know what it's like to have gone through that. Like, I can kind of talk about it with my mom because she's been through stuff like that herself. But like talking about it with my dad when I did, that changed everything. It did change everything because he had, from my knowledge, he'd never been through anything like that. But I did get to hear from his point of view of like of different things. So it was relieving in that part, but at the same time it's also like I don't know if he now has those feelings of struggle of like feeling like a failure as a father, the fact that like he let these things happen, not that he did let
That's
them.
why I couldn't do it because, like, for me, I wish that, like, for nobody.
Yeah.
So why would I tell them just for what? So that they can know now? And I can't even imagine telling my dad.
Yeah.
There's no way. Because
Because
that's like, I've disappointed him as a daughter, and then he's going to feel for the rest of his life, like,
Yeah.
that he should have been there, or I should have, I don't know. Like, that's such a hard
It
thing.
is. It's super hard. And I think part of me is scared too, just because of the snap judgment made.
Right.
Like, they've already just landed on the fact that I was just being promiscuous.
Yeah.
That's what they think happened, and that's
Have they changed their view of you like forever after that, or did they go back to like
how's the
respecting you
relationship
and stuff?
with them right now?
great. I
Okay.
mean, I'm
good.
also hesitant to bring it up because I don't want to like
Yeah.
upset anything, but I also am like the sibling that's like under the microscope slide all the time because I'm the one that's been the most like I've had the most mental health obstacles, if you will.
Right.
Or at least I've been the sibling that's the most open about their journey.
Right.
And there's like other things with them that I struggle with currently that I don't think is exclusive to me by any means. But what was one of them? I just had a phone call with my mom the other day. Oh my gosh, what was it? Oh, it was kind of going back to like the high achieving thing because, you know, I have 4 siblings and, you know, we all have like a family group chat. We share our like positive news, things that are happening, whatever. And like for me, I'm really passionate about the pageant because it's allowed me to become like way more powerful, like in my own confidence and stuff. And I'm causing a lot of positive change that I don't think they fully grasp. Not that I need their validation, but I'm excited about it and I want to share it with them.
Yeah.
And I feel like I get the least like
Validation, like
acknowledgement, recognition,
Yeah.
support kind of because I'm not married. I don't have kids.
yeah.
Everyone else is married. Only one of them has kids, but that's fine. But it's like I feel like I'm constantly playing second fiddle in the family band. And I told that to my mom and she was like receptive to hearing it and she was positive about it. And she's like made more of an effort. And I had this conversation with another friend recently because it's hard being like my position in a family like that where everyone's married and has kids and, you know, everyone else gets celebrated for like the standard societal milestones where I wouldn't have those. Like I don't have an anniversary or a wedding or anything
Yeah,
like
but
that.
you're Miss Arizona.
I mean, I have some pretty bling. It's not on my finger, but
Yeah.
and that's just where
You
my
got a whole
life's
ass
at.
crown. You don't need a ring.
Yeah. It has
Do
a
you wanna
frickin-
see?
Yes,
Yes.
please show us the crown. I would too. It's a ring. Look at that.
But it's like I respect and appreciate like the part of my life I'm in right now because I worked really hard to get here.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm not like in a hurry for like
It just hurts when they don't give you like the same excitement that you have in telling them. Because I had that with my family, and then I just like yelled at them enough where I was like, I'm just not going to tell you anything anymore, and you know nothing about my life. And then they were finally like, oh, we should probably give her some more attention and stuff because it's hurtful when people don't give you the same excitement as you're like giving them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt that with like toying with the idea of like telling my mom about the sexual assault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
What if she says the wrong thing?
yeah,
And it
like
just
why
rips the wound open.
reopen it and already not super being taken serious by them. So why
Right.
do that to myself again?
And it might like make them, it'll just like take you guys back to that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna keep it in my pocket.
I would too.
I'm open to talking about it, obviously, with like people that can give it an avenue to help others.
Yeah.
And I have friends that have survived sexual assault as well. And I was able to help someone else that was going through it, that they didn't know that I'd gone through it. And I was able to get them to take the proper steps, like going to the ER, getting the rape kit, filing a police report.
Good.
Because I didn't get that with mine.
Me neither.
And I didn't get justice. And I'm just going to have to carry that with me. And that's fine. You know, this is why I work out. I got big, strong arms.
Yeah.
I can carry that weight with me, but I'm going to do everything in my power to help others.
How was your healing journey from that bed? Like, how has now your relationship with men changed? Your relationship in dating, your outlook towards dating, just overall. How long was this ago, if you don't mind me asking?
A couple years ago.
Okay.
10 years ago now.
Okay. So it's been a couple years. Have you been in any relationships since this has happened?
Since that one, I was in one relationship. But I feel that it was like there were things wrong in that relationship that I ignored because I was just seeking connection in a healing way. And I was with a therapist at the time too, and she's like, you're never going to truly heal until you move forward.
Yeah.
So I was following her advice. But there was a situation with that partner where, you know, consent wasn't exactly respected, and that literally just sent me right back. But
Yeah.
I tried to, and this is silly of me, but tried to like move forward from it, but it didn't last long. And since that relationship, I have not.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It definitely
I
is.
just went through some like PTSD moment because I like was super numb after mine and I didn't like feel it at all.
Mhm.
And it happened like 4 years ago. And then all of a sudden I was just like bawling all the time and shaking, and I couldn't even like if he touched me in the elbow, I would just like burst into tears. Like it was so weird to me. Like I was like, why am I feeling this now? So I don't know.
Yeah.
Body
weird.
keeps score for
Yeah.
sure.
But now I feel so much better. Like I didn't realize that I was holding it in until after I got over it, you know?
Well, it looks like you have done a lot of healing since a lot of it. And like, obviously, you can still be around guys. You've been able to still go on dates, I assume. And you've been able to grow from it, which is incredible.
Yeah.
It's not
Thank
something easy to grow from, but you've done it. And I'm sure that a lot of other people look up to you in that way, especially being Ms. Arizona, and with everything that you do. Like, you didn't let it take you down. You didn't let it define who you are. You've been able to grow from it, and that's very commendable. So that's amazing. We could probably go on for hours and
Yeah.
hours and hours. Unfortunately, we don't have the memory space to be able to do all that, and we're already
Sorry.
over an hour and a half in.
There's a lot of good content to talk about.
Yeah,
You guys are
I-
amazing.
I want to keep talking forever.
We could
and-
probably have her back on. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
We
want
didn't.
to.
We barely got through any of these questions,
know.
honestly.
Well, we
so-
did it for 2 of our other guests. We could if you feel like coming back.
Yeah,
would
we can do a
love to
part
come
2.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's
would
do
love
part
to.
2.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2, and we'll kind of get more into the actual pageantry stuff.
Yeah.
And kind of get into all that. So.
I want to see some of the animal stuff too. I want to go back in there.
So we'll
talk
we'll
about
do
animals all
we'll
day.
part 2. Obviously, we know you're a very busy bee
Yeah.
right now, so we'll have to figure out when. But yeah, we'll have this be the end of part 1. We'll still publish this as normal and stuff, and then we'll just do part 2
one.
with Ms. Arizona.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Like you're
Thank
such
you
an
guys.
Yes,
inspiration.
thank you for opening up. That definitely meant a lot. I know those kinds of things are very,
Yeah.
very difficult to talk about, especially when you haven't really been super open with it before. But like I said, sexual assault, unfortunately, is something that happens more than we would all like to have happen.
does.
There are many, many victims, male and female, out there. And as someone who I know that I've felt freed by other men talking about it, I know that there's plenty of other men and women who are going to hear your story and feel heard themselves and feel like they're not alone.
You know, just me sitting here.
Yeah.
Yeah, something healed here for me too. And I wasn't sure if I was going to open that can of worms today just because I haven't like addressed the main parties involved. But
Well, we definitely
bringing
appreciate
awareness
it.
to it in a safe space
Absolutely.
very healing. So thank you for holding that space for me.
Of course, always. All right. We'll do part 2.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Of course.